Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and Rico Petrocelli.
You know, Rico, here's the difference between you and I, all right? I'm on the IL, but I come to play. I mean, you got hit in the elbow with a baseball. You were out for 4 months. You know,
Let me tell you something right now. You're a big puss, okay?
What do you mean?
Getting COVID. What's the matter with you? How could you get Omicrons, whatever the hell it is?
I have the Ellen does too.
And he gives it to his wife. Come on.
Well, first of all,
what the hell have you been doing? You're taking vitamins and all that stuff? You're supposed to. How the hell can you get that, for Pete's sakes?
My granddaughter at my 70th birthday party, which by the way was a huge success. Gave it to both of us because she was crawling all over us.
Well, thanks for inviting me and Dave and Chris.
Well, I didn't invite you guys because I didn't want you to get it.
Yeah,
actually, we didn't know she had it. I'm only teasing. But anyways, I'm on the IL. I am fine. Fine. You know what I equate this, and we're gonna bring Steve Verkman in 1 second, and then
Please.
Danny Wulkan from Memory Lane.
Yeah.
I equate this Omicron variant to a moderate to severe cold. It hits you right away. You get tested. You test positive. First 2 days are crap. You know, the head cold and all that stuff. I'm on day 4. Now I'm at the point where, you know, it's just kind of coughing that crap out. Steve, have you had COVID?
I've been lucky. I have not had it.
This is the first time, man. I was shocked because and Rico will attest to this. We have gone to great lengths, Ellen and I, over the last 3 years, like really great lengths not to get it. And we didn't realize my granddaughter had it. She got it at school, kind of passed it on to us, and the rest is history. But, you know, something from what I understand, it's a lot better than the first generation of COVID that came out. So, yeah, so we're lucky. Anyway, I'm home.
You should be in the studio. That's where you should be.
I'm sorry?
We got a cold, so what?
I didn't want to contaminate Chrissy. I don't care
about. Don't worry,
David,
Chrissy had it. She's not vulnerable. No, it's all right. Folks out there who are watching and listening, he's, you know what he is. I said it before, but don't worry about it. He'll be okay. 70 years old.
Listen,
70.
Before we talk to Steve Verkman, our headlines, and this is kind of has a little bit to do with us, not a lot. So PSA decided, and this was in the last 3 days. Now, remember, Ellen and I and Joe Orlando and Johnny Mallory with Rico are going to be at the ECSM booth doing a meet and greet, signing our new book is being released at the National. The PSA, in conjunction with us being there, they are going to be displaying Kenny Kendrick's entire 50 cards. The Diamondbacks collection will be on display at the PSA booth. So we're going to, we'll stop in. Hope you come by either the ECSM booth or the PSA booth. Say hi to us. If you have books, we'll be more than happy to sign them. But we're just going to schmooze. So it's going to be really cool to see some of those fabulous.
Yeah,
cards.
And he may have to sell them all the way his team's playing.
I know. They're struggling. They're really struggling. What are you going to do, though? All
right,
let's bring in Mr. Berkman.
Somebody's got to lose.
From Steve Verkman from Clean Sweep. Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Steve.
Good. How's it going?
Good. Steve, you have an auction that ends tonight because it ends tonight at 8:00. Tell us about it because the timing is perfect for our viewers and listeners.
Well, you have to have your initial bids in by 8:00. So the auction you have to have your first bids in by 8:00 Eastern time tonight, and then at 11:00 Eastern time we do the 10-minute rule. So the whole auction ends at the same time. I don't know if anyone else does this in the hobby. Every lot starts at $5. There's no reserves of any kind, and it is loaded. We have over 1,200 lots, the biggest one we've ever had by far. At this point, at the time we're recording this, we've almost 10,000 bids already in the auction. There's lots of great prices. There's lots of great deals. It is, it's just loaded with collector grade, star cards, rookie cards, mid-grade stuff. We have a 19th century collection with very interesting, affordable type cards, Mayos, and all sorts of cool stuff. So it's the most diverse auction of its kind we've ever had. It's a card auction, though. No autographs or memorabilia.
Any non-sports cards?
Not in this auction so much. This one's more about baseball. We have some football and basketball, but this is just, this one's all about baseball cards from mainly 1880 to 1960. And there's just multiples of Mantles and Gibson rookies and all those kind of classic cards, Koufax rookies, Killebrew rookies, all collector grade, all affordable.
You know what the good thing is, Steve, with your auctions, everything is affordable. And you're saying it starts at $5. And, we pay attention to all of the auctions and auction houses, and they're all great auction houses. They really are. And for an auction like yours, starting at that $5 for the collector that can't spend 50 or 60 or 70,000 bucks, there's always something that is really, better than cool for them to bid on.
Oh, absolutely. And we also have, partial sets and high number lots and, all sorts of things to help out collectors. And, dealers bid too, of course, but, it's geared to collectors to get things they need for their sets and their star card collections. So there's, a big array of material, the most we've ever had in one of these auctions.
Rico, jump in, by the way, at any time.
I'm curious. This is a question probably for all the houses, the auction companies, and they are great companies. How come... think about having all the companies, auction companies together. Think about that, having an auction at the same time. How come there's so many people consigning? In other words,
that's a good question.
As opposed to saving. I'm just saying. Do they need the money? Maybe let's say they want to, sell their great T206 cards or whatever, Ruth. I mean, why are they not holding on to them?
It's a good question.
Basically,
well, people have different reasons for selling things. It could be, the old classic thing was the 3 Ds: the debt, divorce, and death. They're what brings things onto the market. And so that's an old saying from the art world. So that might be motivating people to sell. And the prices still are very high. It's a very strong market. So it's really not a bad time to cash out. In terms of the many auction houses, it's a problem, but I don't know what you can really do about it. I mean, it amazes me is, the really giant auction houses that do 3,000-4,000 lots don't talk to each other. It's like, it was a week in June where there were 5 in a week, and we had one, not that far from that. And everybody does schedule them certain times a year, but it's hard to control that. And, people maybe should communicate more, but everyone has their time slots. But there's so much money out there right now, you can get away with it. I mean, what I would worry if I was a consignor, and I'm being a little bit, biased towards myself or my company, the auctions where they have 856 Mantles in the same auction and 853 Mantles in this market running against 3 other auctions, maybe that's not the best idea. With the people that are doing that much stuff and that much duplication, maybe you want to, as a consignor, I wouldn't go for that. I wouldn't want 8 of the same card in the same auction.
You know something, Steve? Dan Wulkan from Memory Lane is going to join us a little later on. I'm going to ask Dan that question because you are making a good point. And Rico, you brought up a good point for the first time this year. Point being is that if auction houses kind of looked at each other's schedule, I think that would probably be most appropriate. But then on the other side of the coin, I can see, hey, if it's the height of the summer, I want to have an auction going. Or if it's near Christmas, I want to have an auction going. But what I do agree with you, Steve, is, and there's the smaller houses tend to do what you do, is that if there's 3 T206 Cobbs, green background, they won't put them all in the same auction. They'll spread them out over 3 auctions, which I think is kind of a good deal.
Yeah, no question. And then you see certain cases in certain auctions, they'll actually have like 1053 Mantles, Topps Mantles in the same auction. Or, one time one of the big auction houses had 3 1948 leaf satchel pages in the same auction. And, if the market's going crazy and there's unlimited money, I guess you can get away with it. Now with things transitioning a little bit and you may see some softening. So there's risks involved with that.
Yeah. If I have a Christy Mathewson PSA 2 and
that's what he has, that's why. Go ahead.
No, I don't. Oh. And you have a Christy Mathewson PSA 3 also in that auction. I'm not going to be happy as a consignor. I'm just not going to be happy because I think it's going to really impact the sale of my card. But again, I could be wrong, and we'll find out later on too. Because
And-
I want to get the perspective of a large auction house too. Rick, go ahead.
The marketing for your auction goes nationwide. So in other
Absolutely.
words,
Yeah.
all of you are, talking about your auction coming up. So that's why we love to have you guys on this show because
Absolutely.
you can talk about your auction.
Steve, as I said, now your auction ends at 8:00 tonight. Auction bids have to be in by 8:00 tonight, I should say. Okay, so this is a perfect opportunity for our viewers and listeners that are out there. As soon as this show's over, it's 7:30. I'm telling you right now, I've been on the site. There is some great items, some great prices. Steve, a couple of the other items. Can you zero in on a few particulars that you have?
Yeah, sure. We got a Roberto Clemente rookie PSA 2. We have a 54 Red Heart Mantle PSA 2. We have a 48 Leaf Ted Williams PSA 2. We have a couple T206s with old millbacks that are going nuts. We have a Zach Weed and a Fred Clark. We have a 39 play ball DiMaggio and a PSA 3, a 56 Mantle and a PSA 3. That's sort of the top stuff dollar-wise, and then it goes down from there to, there's things in there that are going to sell for $20, $30, $50, $75. Not everything's
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And your website, how do people get to the auction?
All right, so it's cleansweepauctions.com. That's cleansweepauctions.com. And you can the initial bids need to be in by 8. We have the 10-minute rule at 11 o'clock. If you haven't registered, just do it right away, and you can get right in the auction.
And by the way, we're going to see you at the National. We're coming by with a little camera crew, so we're going to chat with you for a few minutes.
All right.
All right. Take care,
Terrific.
Steve. Thanks a lot.
Take care, Steve.
Steve Verkman from
Take care.
Clean Sweep Auctions. He's the kind of guy he's got a good clean sweep, clean auction house. Appeals to that to every kind of collector.
Yeah.
That's
No,
good.
I understand. But the great thing about it is that Steve and the other auction houses are also, doing well. So
Absolutely.
So that maybe it doesn't matter. He said at this time, maybe you can get away with it with say having 3 Cobbs and so on. But
Good.
It's good to see that they're all doing well.
All right. So I think we are ready for our next guest. Famous star. He's been featured on. Remember the movie? What the hell was the name of it? Crap. I'll think of it.
Yeah.
9.5 Weeks.
Oh yeah.
Remember the movie 9.5 Weeks?
Oh, that was a big hit.
He was offered the lead in 9.5 Weeks and turned it down. Turned it down because he didn't think that Kim Basinger was good looking enough, which I still question to this day. But anyway, let's bring in Danny Wulkan from Memory Lane Auctions. Hi, Daniel.
Hey, Dan.
We can't hear you, Dan.
Yeah. You know why? Because he's got that New York shirt on. That's why.
No, Dan, you got to turn your audio on.
Hi.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
Stand by.
No, we hear you now.
Action. Here we go.
Okay, now we can hear you. How you doing, Daniel?
Good. How are you?
Good. Dan, why did you turn that roll down?
Basinger just didn't do it for me. They really, I'm more of a Marilyn Monroe type, At that time, I think Sharon Stone was supposed to be in it. So,
Yeah.
Was she in it? Was she the one that was in it? Or was Sharon Stone?
Absolutely not.
Oh, it was Kim. Okay, it was Kim. All right, listen, we have a lot to chat about. You're going to be with us for the entire rest of the show, by the way. I don't know if you know that, but you have no choice. A couple of things right out of the gate. Before we talk about Memory Lane Auctions.
Oh, wait, quick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I understand, I forgot.
There is no love. There is no justice.
To the airwaves.
It's coming through the airwaves. That's how he got it.
I got a twitch now.
There is no humor. I find absolutely no humor in that whatsoever.
Well, we can do it
right
now.
on you.
I know.
Omicron.
Actually, you know something, Rico? You know what the thing I miss the most?
What?
I have not had a cigar in 5 days.
Ooh.
Well, maybe that's why you got it. Maybe you need that tobacco.
Could be.
Huh?
Could be. Hey, Danny, I wanted to ask you about Ironheart Films. Can you tell us about that? Because I know that you're either you own it or you're part of it. But what exactly is Ironheart Films?
In a nutshell, 1994, moved out to LA after I worked on A Bronx Tale with Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Joe Pesci was in that, did a cameo, Chaz Palminteri. Moved out to LA in 94, worked for Warner Brothers, a bunch of studios, did some entry-level work, then ended up producing, opened up Ironheart Films. That's my production company. But haven't done much film in a long time except for being on the show Pawn Stars, because there really isn't, the demand with the sports stuff. Growing up, I always believed that if you have two things you love, there's no reason why you should pick one over the other. If you love two things, like doing film, most of my life, and also doing the sports stuff, you just take what's hot at the moment and you run with it. But it's just, Ironheart Films is my production company that I've owned for a long time. Produced some features that went straight to DVD and to home video, to, the cable networks. And that's about it. But, I'll never get rid of it. It's just two passions I've always had.
One of the all-time favorite scenes of my entire movie-making watching.
The door test?
The Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
When the motorcycle gang pulls in, that is one of the greatest scenes in the history of movies. You guys can't leave. Now
I got a great quick story, like hopefully 10 seconds. So I'm inside the Ches Bippy is what the name of the bar was.
Yeah.
And I'm green. I'm like an intern with college. I had an internship with college. So I'm working on the film. They cut and I walk over and I pick up the glass that Chaz used to hit one of and those guys were Hell's Angels.
I know a lot. I read that. A lot of them were Hell's Angels, except for one or two.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I read that.
I pick up the glass because it's apple glass. It's called. It's fake.
Yeah.
And you can crunch it in your hand. And I wanted to take a piece just to, as a memory.
So, yeah.
And the lady said that glass is hot. And I said, no, it's not. And I went to put it in my pocket and she said, "You're probably pretty green. You don't understand what hot means. It means that you can't touch it because of the continuity of the scene, that they have to reshoot the scene and they want to make sure that bottle is in the right place
wow.
to reshoot a different angle." So here I'm with Chaz and the Hell's Angels and I'm like learning pretty quick.
Rico, you saw that movie, The Bronx Tale?
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene with the motorcycle gang? That's just such a great scene.
When I was doing the Sirius XM show, we had him on, Chaz.
Chaz?
Yeah, big Yankee fan, man.
I love him, though. I love him. He's a great actor. He's a great actor.
Let me ask you, Dan, why don't you put together a memorabilia show, cards, having this kind of same...
Great question.
Would you give it a rest? Every time I have a question...
No, I'm telling you, you're on a roll.
I'm always on a roll. I keep rolling the heavier I get. But no, think about it. You probably have, but people come up to the desk. What do you think my card is worth here? You check it. You can have some fun with it. This is nothing. Take a hike or something like that. Or
no, it's a great idea. I mean, I've had a couple of different offers where they shot some reels on some ideas. We're still thinking of a couple of things, but when you have the production company, sure, you can associate yourself with producing it, creating it, and then pitching it to the networks. Yeah, so
it's just not cards. You got tons of memorabilia.
Yeah, it basically becomes like an antiques roadshow for just the collectibles, sports collectibles. Cards,
not an antiques.
No, but I'm saying people come in and you appraise.
Yeah, like Pawn Stars. Not exactly, but similar.
Right. Yeah,
that's been a hit. That's a hit. The Pawn Stars.
A lot of people are also doing that, right? There's a guy who's an pitcher for the Red Sox that actually has a card show that I forget the network it's on. I'll have to find it, but he played with the Red Sox years ago, and he has a card show.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
on at some TV cable, some network.
His name is Lomborg.
No, it's not. No, but still, okay, he has that. But you, I think you could be more What's the word?
appraising kind of a.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could have some fun with it too.
I
you
think
know what
you-
I mean?
Danny, you would be great
There's
at it. You really
got
would.
some ideas. Well, you're a producer. I'm a marketing guy. That's why my head's rolling.
You know, you
as
and
soon as said
JP,
that.
you and JP should put the dough up and start your own show. I'm telling you, you guys would be
The
great at
channel
it.
on YouTube.
Anyway.
once a week.
And you get Tomasulo in there, home run.
Yeah, we'll call it the Great American Appraisal Show or something.
Absolutely,
like
we're
that.
in. All right, listen, let's talk about the before we get into the specifics on some of the stuff Memory Lane's been doing. Let's talk about the National. What do you guys have in store? Because you guys always have some really cool surprises at the National. What's going on?
This is going to be one of the most incredible surprises that we're going to bring. You know, people don't study the Pop Report, but this is a one-off, and there's 6 one-offs that we're going to be bringing to display. Wayne Gretzky's debut ticket stub, his from the WHA, which was when he played for the Indianapolis Racers, 1978. So
Very
it's
cool.
a whole
Nice.
run with his debut. And you know how tickets are the hottest thing in the world now. His debut ticket, his first goal, his second and third goal, first assist, his first scrimmage game. So it's an array of, I think, 6 tickets that were going to be on display, not for sale, but just on display.
Very cool.
That was just rated.
All right, listen, Danny Wulkan from Memory Lane's in the house. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, there's going to be more Danny Wulkan. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
COVID, Mr.
Thank
COVID,
you.
there he is. Look.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
With record-breaking sales from everything from the white border T206 Honus Wagner for $3.12 million to some great items that support the Jackie Robinson Foundation, Golden Auctions has set the highest standards for the finest in sports cards, autographs, and game-used memorabilia. We're always accepting consignments of high-end premium sports treasures or entire collections. Please register for our next auction and bid now at goldenauctions.com. That's golden with an I. We at Golden Auctions are committed to providing unsurpassed customer service for the discriminating collector. That's exactly why we're the leader in the industry. Visit goldenauctions.com or call 856-767-8550. Remember, Golden Auctions. We don't just break records, we shatter them.
Hi, everyone. This is Rico Petrocelli. JustCollect.com, a leader in the vintage sports card industry, is giving free appraisals on your vintage cards. They'll evaluate your collection for free and let you know the value of it at no cost and no obligation. If you're ready to sell, JustCollect.com will offer you industry-leading prices to buy your card collection. To begin your free baseball card appraisal, visit JustCollect.com or call them at 732-828-2261. That's JustCollect.com for your free vintage card appraisals and top buy prices for your cards. Check out JustCollect.com today.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
He answered the tough questions. On deck with Rico Petrocelli.
On deck with Richard Petrocelli.
That was great.
On deck with Richard Petrocelli. Well, Richard, how are you today?
What?
I said, hi, Richard. How are you today?
I'm good.
Oh, it's Rico. I'm sorry. She said Richard.
Oh, well, that's all right. You can do either one, Rico or Richard.
Oh, is that what they called you? They called you like Rich when you were a kid, did they?
No, it was the shortened version.
Can I ask you a question about that? Wait. How do you pronounce your real name? Is it Americo or Americo?
Spelled with an O, America with an O. It's Americo.
Americo. That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, well, Amerigo Vespucci. Remember him?
He
Well,
was the guy that made the maps.
He was a G. Yeah, he has a G. But my parents hated me, so they didn't want me. So they says, my mother wanted a girl, and she says, well, the hell with him. We'll show him. Let's name him.
Time for our segment called On Deck with Rico, brought to us each week by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. Okay, Rick, this week's question, and by the way, I forgot to bring a sample, but the gentleman that sent us, his name is Steve Schwab. You get to win a Great American Collectibles T-shirt. I'm not going to give you the one I have on, but we'll get one in the mail to you. Okay, here's the question, Rick. It says, it looks like the Yankees are going to leave the Red Sox in the dust. First of all, what are your thoughts about that?
What a great question. That's one of your best questions you've ever asked.
I didn't ask the question. Steve Schwab asked the question.
That's why it's great. That's what we're saying.
What is your thought?
Oh, well, you don't. All right. Say it over again. No. What the hell was it?
The Yankees?
Yankees, the team. Yeah, the Yankees. JT looks like.
How good are they, Rico?
Going to leave the Red Sox. Well, right now they're very good. They're an offensive team. They're all hitting. And Judge is having a great year because his contract's up. No, I mean, they got a good team.
Danny, you can jump in.
Hey, well,
go ahead. No, finish.
No, I want Danny to jump in. But the playoffs are a different story. It's a different story than the pitchers. You usually face your ace. The other team faces, will throw their ace. And hits are tougher to come by.
So you're saying in a short series,
the Yankees,
they're vulnerable.
Unless they have good pitching, they could be beat easy.
Dan, your thoughts?
I'm telling you, everybody's showing up to the dance. I mean, you got anywhere from Judge to LeMahieu to Stanton to, the whole entire lineup is producing, and they're gelling together. They got a new hitting coach, Hensley Bam Bam Mullins from, he won 3 World Series rings with the Giants, in a 10-year span. I mean, they have the staff. They also, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I'll tell you, sometimes you got the guys that think they know what they're doing in the analytics side, and that it's because of them that they're doing so well. And then you have the guys that are the hitting coaches that are taking them into the cage, inside the stadium and working with the players, no matter if they're a veteran or not. So I think it has to do a lot with the hitting, than the analytics, because what's really weird that I've recently learned about analytics is that they're going to judge someone on the exit velocity of the ball. If they're up to bat and they hit it in the air and it takes off real quick, even if they're out, they get more credit on the analytics numbers side than if someone not hit into double play, but if someone hit a single, between the first and second baseman. So
interesting.
Numbers are very weird.
That's true, but I don't mean they're still vulnerable to strikeouts. The one thing that they have a better balanced lineup now with Rizzo and
Gallo.
They got Carpenter from St. Louis. He could get hot anytime. So that I will say, but it's still going to come down to pitching.
Well, something we were talking about this last week, Dan, with I think it was Brian Dwyer. Rico made a good point about, if you look at using Judge as an example, and this kind of supports what Rico's saying about a short series. Look at how many home runs he's hit, which is a crap load, 30, 31 at this juncture. But how many home runs has he hit against sub 500 pitchers? That's what you got to look at. And I think that's what one of the things Rico's saying, that, come playoff time, he's not going to be looking at many sub 500 pitches. I mean, 1 or 2, but the whole pitching thing kind of jumps up a level or 2. So it's going to be interesting.
You never know.
To see what happens.
We're just speculating here, but if it's their year, they'll just keep going.
Rico, there's a second part. Go ahead, Dan. Hey, there's a second part to this question.
There is?
Yeah. He's asking, this is a good question. Rico, what Yankee team was the best team that you played against in your career? What particular Yankee team was the best that you played against?
I think it was the 1927 Yankees.
Yeah, with Ruth. You played against Ruth.
Yeah.
Him and Ruth, they used to get drunk together.
Actually, they put me behind Gehrig, Ruth, and then Gehrig, and then me.
And then you.
And, of course, the pitchers were afraid, so they had to pitch the Gehrig and Ruth.
Babe Blue and Americo.
Yeah. No, I would say that when I first came up, the Yankees were terrible. Then they started getting better in the middle 70s. So I guess the 76 team, their team was the best that I had, that I faced. And then the next year I was gone. So, but I would say that. But the
team in 67 that you played against, 68.
No, they were no good.
And they were on the back end.
Yeah,
was
they were terrible.
And Mickey Mantle, they were on the back end.
CBS owned them, and they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
So the 76 Yankees, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the only one. I mean, maybe they weren't the greatest, but they were good. And they had Jackson and all. They have very good teams.
All right, well, let's get back to Mr. Wulkan.
Yes.
All right, Danny, we've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. Modern versus ultra-modern market. Number one, investors. Are they investors? Are they collectors? Or are they both? I'm talking the younger generation that are investing in modern and ultra-modern cards. Is there a love there for the collection, or is it just strictly a monetary investment?
It's tough with new cards. Ultra-modern cards, there's a lot of hype around them. The pop is huge. These cards come out of these packs, like these. Panini puts together a beautiful, beautiful product. The cards you could cut yourselves with the cards right when they come out of the pack. So it's not like, when you guys collected back in the day, when my parents collected back in the day, my dad would collect, long story short, he'd flip them. So the condition would go. So that's why you have condition on all these older cards in all levels. But as far as the new cards, they come out of the pack, they're perfect. So if you have a card that has like 20,000 PSA 10s, where's the investment side? And also what people have to, which I touched on last time, which people have to be careful about is buying the hype. They buy the hype. They got these guys that are going to not corner the market, but buy a ton of, these Jordan rookie cards. And then all of a sudden, a couple go for 750,000. So you have a guy mortgaging his home because he thinks it's going to be a $5 million card. Next thing you know, you cut to 2022 and the card's going for 200 grand. So you got the guy who's going to lose his house. Who cares? Who cares? It's these guys are making their millions, and I feel terrible but buyer beware. They can't, they're jumping, they're buying the hype, and that's what's scary. A lot of the new cards are coming down. This is a problem I had years ago when certain card companies would come out with a 1 of 1. So you had a Babe Ruth 1 of 1. It was worth 25 grand. Okay. The next year they came out with 7 1 of 1s, different products. They'll throw that 1 of 1. Now there are thousands of 1 of 1s, 1 of 25s, 1 of 50s, 1 of 99s. It's not limited anymore because
that's called. But I mean, to support what you're saying, that's called what we're getting today is what everybody refers to as manufactured scarcities or manufactured rarities. I mean, but a Ruth card, a Garrett card, a Cobb card, those are finite cards. So if it's only a 1 of 1 or a 1 of 10, that's actually what you're getting.
But also, if I may, Dan,
sure.
I'd rather buy a card than put my money in the bank. What do I get? 1%, I'm just saying, even investments right now, with the market the way it is. And I got a card, it may go down, but I still have a decent amount. Yeah, right. And if it goes up again, especially the vintage.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The vintage cards, I agree 100% with you. The modern and ultra modern cards, man, I think you're rolling the dice. I think you're really rolling the dice.
Big time. And I think, buying a maze from 58 that might be a pop 6, in a 10, and I'm sorry, in a 9, you're parking your money in the right position. And I'll tell you, our industry is the most successful stockbrokers in the world. They crush stockbrokers. If you make 10% of your money in the stock market, you're killing it.
Wow.
Even 7%, you're killing it. But here, if you buy something for $100 and you sell it for $130, and you take that $130 and through the year, you can grow, that $100 into $400 before the year's end. So you've made 300%.
Yeah.
The numbers are staggering with what someone can do, in just investing, like you said, investing, in low pop vintage. Rico, like you said, buying older cards, staying away from the new stuff, then there's another side of the coin. Buy what you love, enjoy what you're doing. If for some reason it goes up in value, then so be it. And that's great. But, there's also the side of, if you can afford it, buy what you love and enjoy it, and I think, and it's scarcities. There's always a buyer for anything and everything. You just need to park your money in the right stuff. And
I've gotten, and I've talked about this many times. I look at my particular collection, and I've whittled it down to manageable. But I look at the return on my investment since I started buying cards in 1986 or 87. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, Ellen and I have investments with my family business. We have 401ks, all of that stuff. The return on my investment with my collectibles, with my sports memorabilia, is just blows away anything else that we have. That's just the way it's been.
How about just sharing your millions with your co-host?
Petrocelli, listen to me. You're the only guy I know.
Dan, he's a
Danny,
cheat.
he's the only guy I know. The Red Sox will pick him up. call them up, say, Rick, do me a favor. We need you to come to the stadium to eat a couple of hot dogs, sign a few autographs, and we'll give you 10 grand.
Ooh,
That's what he does.
No, but the newer cards to the kids, there's a lot more kids now, parents and kids getting involved. And, of course, they hear the names, Trout, et cetera. They're going to buy those cards. And so we like to see that, too. So we're hoping that, that end of the industry continues to grow, too, beside
absolutely.
the vintage.
But back to your collection, Tom, I don't know if you got the consignment form for the cards you sent in for us to sell for you, but the next group, that whole collection, I'm very excited. We're going to feature that on your show, probably about 2-3 shows down the line. And we're looking forward to selling your whole entire collection.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid that's. I have a couple of stragglers. I'll be more than happy to throw your way.
Stand happy.
And something. I mean, some of the stuff that I buy is like it's off the wall stuff. It really is.
Cool.
I just picked up. I have a really nice Christy Mathewson T206. It's a PSA 6,
Beautiful.
and I've had that for 30 years. So then I picked up his book, Pitching in a Pinch. Unfortunately, It's the first edition, but not signed by him. But it's in my I have a little display case.
Nice.
When I got rid of my T206s, I decided to hang on to Chief Myers because Chief Myers was Christie's battery mate for basically his entire career. I just picked up I think it's the only one of 2 signed baseballs by Chief Myers.
Oh, wow.
And the word chief is in Native American. So I have the Myers ball, the Myers card, the book, and Mathewson. I have the battery mates together. That's kind of the crazy stuff that I like to buy. That's what I like to buy.
No, it's companion
Danny, let's talk about your collection, because I know at one time, and I think you still are, you were heavily into signed checks, correct? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, a lot of signed checks, whether it's Ruth or Gehrig or even non-sports. I mean, I love things that tell a story, just like you were talking about Chief Myers and Mathewson, where you put something together, it tells a story. We have just picked up a slew of checks signed by Jack Ruby. It's just, it's these walks of life that have all these stories. I did have a lot of quantity of checks that I ended up getting rid of. Just based on there was such a huge supply of them that there was really no reason to hold on to them. But little by little, like signed checks of Orville Wright.
Now that's cool stuff, though. That's really cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's affordable. You can get an Orville Wright check for $500 to $800. So depending on condition. So why wouldn't you buy, a piece of history? You can get a JFK check for $8,000 to $10,000. You can get an Abraham Lincoln signed check from the 1860s, okay, for about $10,000 to $12,000.
Yeah, see, that's the stuff that's cool.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. All right, we are chatting with Dan Wulkan. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about probably the most famous autograph piece out there. Petrocelli and Ruth on the same piece of paper.
Don't do that to me, you.
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
With so many fakes out there, it's hard to figure out if the sneakers you want are real. But when you buy eligible sneakers on eBay, you can be confident they're genuine because every pair goes through a meticulous authentication process. Introducing eBay Authenticity Guarantee. First, the sneakers you've purchased are inspected by a team of professional authenticators who carefully examine the shoes, including color, pattern, logos, and materials. Then they're measured and compared to the eBay listing to make sure they match. Even the laces, accessories, and box are checked. Once your sneakers are verified, they receive an authenticity tag, and every tag is NFC enabled so you can see the detailed specs. eBay Authenticity Guarantee. No fakes, no fraud, no doubt.
Well, folks, eBay is the place to go for all of your sports memorabilia. Tom Zappala goes there, and when he's got spare time, he likes to go there after having his martinis and a cigar.
Cheese and crackers. Don't forget the cheese and crackers.
Cheese and crackers, and he has a good time there. You got sports or non-sports cards, excuse me, autographs, and much more. Whether it's a gift that Tom has never given to any of his staff, for that special someone, or you want to just add to your collection, eBay's huge marketplace should be your first stop. And if you sell, now's the time to flip your cards and get some extra cash, Tom. Well, I shop on eBay all the time. That's eBay, connecting buyers and sellers globally.
Thank you, Rico. Very nice. Hey, Danny, you guys have a blockbuster auction coming up, man. Tell us about it.
We
You
do,
got
but
some
I'm
cool stuff.
real quick. I'm going to tell you something about eBay. Really cool story. I'm on there. I always look for deals here and there. I picked up a Gabby Hartnett cut and a check with shipping for $75. So I was going to take it out of it was framed. I take it out of the frame. I took the piece off the back. And what does it say on the back? Jimmy Spence, Show Off Collectibles, Orwigs, Pennsylvania. This was his frame.
Are you kidding me?
Job. So this had to have been framed by Spence about 40 years ago.
Oh, my God. Very cool.
To him at the National.
Very cool.
So
tell us about the auction.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's incredible. We've got 2 catalogs in this next auction. It ends September, around the first week of September. It's going to start about the 3rd week of August. And we have two catalogs, a 52 top set that we're breaking. That's all signed, all encapsulated by PSA. We've got an 86 Fleer basketball set, all PSA 10s, cards and stickers, all being broken, single lots. We've got a 58 tops high grade set. We've got a 63 tops Pete Rose in a PSA 9. We have 2 Gem Mint 10 rookies, big time Hall of Famers of Johnny Bench and Steve Carlton. And Rico, you ready for this one? We've got a run of Boston Red Sox programs from 1901 to 2021, including the 1903 program. That's nearly impossible. It's scored when I think Cy Young lost 7-3.
Oh, man.
But that piece, we've got
Dan, are you selling those individual lots?
It's a collection. And
so you're going to sell it as a collection?
Yeah, but I think we pulled some that we're going to sell individually, and then we'll sell some as lots.
Oh, you got to pull the 67, and I'll bid on it so I can get Petrocelli to sign it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if we can do that. But we also have we have a 53 top set that's being broken. That's all PSA 8s or better. Wow. We've got about 60 Type 1 photos, including a 39, a George Burke 39 Williams rookie photo, a lot of high grade mantle cards, also a bunch of T206 cards, including a PSA Maggie Error, a PSA 3.
Cool.
So that's
cool.
up there.
Nice stuff,
just some incredible.
You said something at the very beginning that kind of piqued my interest. Did you say that you have a complete 52 top set signed?
It is missing. I think it's missing the Matthews, but aside from that, every single card is signed. They're encapsulated by PSA. And the cool thing, and then to back way up as far as what your point was for the Matty 2 and 3 in the same auction, or how Steve, touching on what Steve said,
right?
Steve had great points. I agree with him 100% that you don't, you see some of these auctions put 8 to 10 Mantle 53 top.
Yeah, I mean,
even in 17 different grades. What we do is we will not duplicate the same grade. Now, for your sake, as far as a Matty 2 or 3, if you give a Matty 2 and we're selling a 3 from a different consignor, I think it's a benefit to you, because the 3, people are going to fight that out and they're going to bid to the moon on that.
Good point.
And if they don't win it, they're going to
go for the 2. That's a good point.
They might overpay just in the heat of things, because how
that's
bidding
a good point.
Ego, and when you want to win it, you want to win it.
Very good point. I didn't think of that. And you're making a good point. I think I will retract my statement. If you have the same card with the same grade, I have a problem with that. But what you're saying now makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, but this auction is going to be incredible. When you get the catalog, we made sure that when you get the catalog in the mail, you can also work out with it, because it's the weight of a baby, a newborn baby. It's about an 8-pound catalog. So, but it's incredible. We have a bunch of unopened that's going to be in the auction. I mean, it's just, people sell our catalogs on eBay. It's hilarious.
Danny, before the break, I said there really is out there a ball signed
by
Babe
Petrocelli
Ruth and Babe Ruth. Can you imagine somebody walking up to Rico Petrocelli that has a Babe Ruth autograph and saying he has signed the back of it? Rico, true or false?
What, the ball?
Yeah.
True, but you didn't realize one thing. I signed it before Babe signed it.
Rico, do you remember when that happened?
Yes, honestly, I can't. The guy is a Babe Ruth. I want you to sign it. I said, what? I said, you're crazy. Babe Ruth. I mean, this is worth good money. No, I don't care. I don't care. You're my favorite player. I want you on there. And he just wouldn't go away. And I says, okay, you're going to ruin this ball.
I wonder if that thing who owns that thing
he
now.
was honored. Babe was honored to be there.
Hey, listen, I have a couple of we have a couple of minutes left, and I'm going to address this to both of you guys. And this is a serious point I want to make.
Sure.
You guys are two very, very spiritual men.
Yes.
Danny, I read your post on Facebook, and I find them enlightening. I really do.
Very much. Thank you.
And Rico, you too. Rico's a very spiritual guy. He's very
I'm a
involved
Christian.
right. And you're involved with the whole Christian, and you're involved with the what do they call it?
Fellowship
the
of
Christian
Athletes.
Athletes.
Them and other ministries.
You guys are both very, very spiritual guys. Danny, we have about a minute and a half. What do you attribute that to for you personally?
Paying it forward. I want people to be successful. I want to be able to talk someone up. I want everybody to succeed. I mean, I'm very grateful for what I have, what the things that I've been able to do to accomplish. I'm 50 years old. It's been a dream life thus far. And whenever I see someone down, it bothers me that I want to pick them up and say, you know what? If someone else, why not you? That's always been my motto in life. You can do anything you want. Look at you. You published books. Back in the day, you had an idea. It was, and you went from concept to completion. And now you're on your 10th book? I mean, it's amazing. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, damn, I succeeded. I went and I did it. And I'll tell you, no one is different than the next person. If you cut yourself, we all bleed red. So I'm telling you, we're all the same. We all, if we put aside greed and just go for it and be positive and have a positive mental attitude, I think it's, there's no reason why one can't succeed. If they're going through hell, they can get out of it quick. It's just mind over matter.
Rico?
I want everyone to
Well,
succeed.
no, for salvation. I became a Christian. My wife had cancer. And while I was a player, and I didn't know what to do, I met a guy who came out of seminary. He was a big sports fan, and talked to me about it. And I said, "Yeah, that makes sense." So I kind of dedicated my life to that, to Christianity. And the big thing is salvation. It's not just what we do here, but where are we going to be? What's going to happen after?
Yeah, but Rico, you've had a real impact on a lot of younger athletes. A lot.
Well, they have now. They have chapel programs for all the sports, all the way through high school. And so there's people there to try to help out. But it also helps your life now. I mean,
And Danny, you say the same thing.
It's faith. It's faith in Christ.
Just believe it. There's a God, and even if you don't believe, I don't want to take it away from people that might not believe. It's just like, be positive, be a good person, pay it forward. It's like, and never do something because of karma. That's my biggest thing. You don't do something because you get it back tenfold. You do it because you feel in your heart you want to do it for someone, and then you pay it forward, and that's it. And if the guilty part is feeling good, then I'll take it for doing something for someone else.
Awesome. Your website address, sir, is
www.memorylaneinc.com. I'm telling you, it's an amazing auction coming up.
Great.
We really look forward to seeing you at the National.
Can I say something too?
Yeah, you got 30 seconds.
Okay. I'm joking with to the people out there watching and listening. I'm joking with Tom about COVID. I know people listening because they might have had somebody close to them die of COVID, and I'm not making fun of it. I joke around with Tom a lot. So please don't take
Absolutely,
that
Rico.
personal.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm one of the fortunate ones. I had, a very mild. I have a very mild case. Again, I'm one of the fortunate ones. We've lost people very close to us
Yeah,
with COVID.
I mean, I understand.
So, you know, you have
just
to,
joking
you know,
around.
it is no joking matter.
No,
it really isn't.
certainly
You know,
not, but,
Ellen
you
and
know,
I, we've
you
done
are.
everything humanly possible to come this far without getting it. Now we're following the procedures. We're sticking around the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little fishing this afternoon by myself on my dock.
4 or 5
And,
martinis, that
no,
might help kill the germ. Hey,
there's something to be said about that, by the way, but we won't get into that. All right, guys. Dan, we see you
Dan,
at
great
the
to see
National.
you.
We're going to be coming
Yeah.
around, doing a little interview. Looking forward to see you, JP, Joe, and the rest of the gang.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much.
Take
All
care.
right, we love having you.
Yes.
Rico,
Hey.
I'll see you next week. Don't
Yes.
forget to get the T-shirts from Elsie.
I got him, kiddo.
All right, with that being said, you guys, we love you all. Thanks so much for the support. Happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.